at some point. Don't know. So, how's everybody evening? Are you excited for 4th of July?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mm, not much
I
money this year, so
tonight we're supposed to do the review on Blazing Saddle. I've been working all week. I have to work tomorrow, and I got to work Saturday, and I'm just burnt upstairs. So we're not going to do Blazing Saddles. What we are going to talk about is Shadow's love affair with Snickers, the candy
No,
bar.
no, you fucking suck. No. Always a Milky Way guy or Three Musketeers.
So it's about three guys. Gotcha.
I don't need to take this shit. I got tons of people waiting to abuse me.
Three Musketeers has the vein on top too.
Spoken like a true expert. Like I said the other show, I compressed the Three Musketeers until the chocolate falls off. I don't know why. I think because
So
I
you-
found out that I could.
You like the nugget.
Nougat.
Nougat. You like the cream filling.
It's not really cream. That's more of a paste, a sticky paste.
Mm.
And if what you're thinking about comes out as a sticky paste, I highly recommend seeing a urologist. Just saying.
I'm in a mood. So,
Yeah, it's all that lack of hair. What happened to your head? Did you
Get a
fucking
haircut.
screw through a couple of buildings too tightly?
I had to look professional. Not all of us can be like a dirty hippie.
Professional what? Russian gangster?
Duh. I think I look quite good, no?
Eh,
Where are you? Oh, there we go.
I'm right here. Where the fuck are you?
I'm getting one of these. 'Cause I'm tired. Oh my now! Oh my god, we might be meeting the quota. What's the quota? I don't know.
You got to save room for Raven in case she wants to show up.
Or
What am I doing
Bruce.
here at the fucking the schleppy end? What the fuck?
Hey, it's Omanau. I like Omanau.
Hey, how's it going?
Everybody likes someone else.
I know.
no,
I don't expect people like me. That's why I don't care.
That's not the like. Owen, you're a great cat. Don't sell yourself short. I don't hang out with losers. Oh, except you guys.
Oh, that's not nice.
Nah, nerdy's cool.
So we may be losers, but we're high quality losers.
There you
Shadow was telling us how much he likes Three Musketeers.
The movie, the book,
The
the
candy.
Did
All
you
of the above.
well, you know what's interesting is that the Three Musketeers originally had 3 candy bars in it.
It did. It
Yeah.
did way back in before you and I were born. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
just like Mars Bar was 2, I think.
Well, you know what's interesting? Jujubes used to be made out of jujubes.
And now they're made out of toxic waste.
Yeah, well, yeah.
What the hell is a
And
juju?
not only that, but the Mars
It's-
Bar was
yeah.
a flat bar that looked a lot like an Almond Joy, where the almonds were on top, covered in chocolate with the white stuff in the middle. It was a much different candy bar. I know because I would because there'd be like 1 or 2 almonds on top. I would eat around the almonds,
Yeah.
and then save that for the last bites.
A jujube is what they also call a Chinese date. It apparently tastes something like an apple. I'm growing them, but I have never tasted one. And
So
my-
it's 3 hours with the woman just doing this. Meh, 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 meh.
no, but no, they're supposed to grow really well in a lot of like adverse conditions. So, one of my coworkers, she said a lot of Koreans grow them out in the desert in California. What they do is, want them to make a little bit of money. They buy a small plot and then start growing them out there.
That works. You can definitely get behind that thought. Because God knows we're going to need somebody out there farming.
I don't know what you're saying. All it means is that the people now picking food, like I can have my son now you have to pay them more money, so they can make more money doing that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, really? Well, yeah. If you actually look at the labor issues that occurred in the 1970s with Cesar Chavez, you'll find out that he hated illegal immigrants.
Right. I know there was a law. They passed a law in California that basically gathered up all Asians, all people from China, and was trying to ship them back. But
Well, that
listen,
was way before that. Yeah, but I would say that.
early, yeah.
Well,
This
but
was
you have to also look at in the 1970s. The Democrats didn't want any Asians coming over because they tended to vote Republican, and that's why Jerry Brown didn't want the Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
now. I just don't want anybody. Y'all get out.
Hey, you
Yeah.
know what? How about this? If your family wasn't here during the founding of the country, you can leave. Thank you very much. No.
Well, I'm screwed. Well, no. I have to cut myself in half.
Okay. No.
Yeah, I was
You,
thinking the
you had
same thing.
family. I didn't specify. How well it was. I just said family.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't even know precisely when. I just know half my family came here after WW2, and the other half uh, much earlier.
My mom's side of the family has been here since King George granted some bastard in my family a land grant for Virginia.
Well, there you go. Mine was here before the British. That was.
My
And then
family's been here for many generations going, hey, how are ya? Hey, how are ya?
If only your people had better border control. Um,
Actually, they did have really good border control. It kept the Vikings out.
no shit.
The problem. Well, apparently, now we don't know about the Templars. That's a whole other story. It's,
There's a guy that goes to the lounge. He's obsessed with all things Templar. And if he could find a way to put it into a fucking conversation, it comes busting through like a bull in a china uh, store.
Kool-Aid Man on crack.
Uh,
I forgot who I first heard that saying.
so, what's your plans for tomorrow, Omino?
well, we're gonna go. Well, of course, I'm gonna. Well, my son's watching Empire Strikes Back right now. Well, we're gonna go to the local fireworks, and so we've been doing that pretty much almost every year since I've been around him, and they're gonna have a drone show, and that's probably gonna be about 15, 20 minutes, and then probably have about half an hour of fireworks, and it's gonna take about an hour and a half to get home. So for a 10-minute drive, so
Wow. I have 3 fireworks shows that are within like almost walking distance of where I live.
oh good.
And what happens is people will like park on the main road that leads to the park and just break out. We actually started the tradition years ago because we just hop our fence with a bunch of lawn chairs and just sit there and watch their show and then come back home and light our own stuff off.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. No, ours is done by HEB over here, so HEB funds it, and then we'll probably go get some barbecue and snow cones, hang out there. We usually hang out there for about a few hours and then head back. It's just a kind of a tradition for us, and then we can go watch Black Sabbath on Saturday.
Nice.
And,
That sounds fun.
yes. Well, we'll have to get up early, so we'll get back here. We'll probably go to bed around 1, and I'll have to get up about 7 and drive to my friend's house. So I'll have to figure out what type of tacos I want. Which reminds me, I gotta go check out which type of tacos I want for that day. He said he'll get us tacos, so that way we don't have to stop for breakfast.
I like morning burritos.
Well, usually I get stuff that's afternoon, so they're brisket.
Oh, I got Bruce and a few other people's like, you gotta come down and see us down in Tennessee. I'm like, I don't want to go to Tennessee. Why? I don't know. It's filled with people from not Tennessee. People from make it down to Texas. They're like, no, maybe some of the best.
What you got against Texas?
Well, not much of anything other side that, according to my grandma, it's full of drunks and rednecks.
Wait a minute. I thought that was Chicago
That too.
Pennsylvania.
I like Pennsylvania.
Connell, I have never left this state, but I can tell you right now, without ever going to another state, Every state has drunks and rednecks in it.
I
Yes,
know. I made the mistake of calling my mom's dad redneck. He's like, I am not a redneck, and he got really mad. He's like, I am an Appalachian American. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, redneck implies that you actually get to see sunlight. Because
Doing honest day's work.
The redneck comes from really working the fields.
Yeah.
So Appalachians, they're under forest all the time, so you can't be a redneck.
Oh, I have a
Well-
few. I know I have family members that were moving alcohol from one area to another alcohol.
Bootleggers.
Yeah, back in the 20s.
Color me surprised.
What does that mean?
Well, it's sarcasm.
Yeah,
It means he's not surprised you had shine runners.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
can't say anything. My family was kicked out of Ireland for rustling horses.
I can't say much either. My grandfather was forced to leave Greece after killing a man. So it was.
And the other side, if I believe what my family said, were somehow brought over here under the auspices of Operation Paperclip. I don't believe it, but there's none of them left alive to
A
question.
lot of people came over through that project.
Ooh, oh man, they had to put eggs in it. Darn it.
I just read a book maybe a couple months ago about Operation Paperclip. It was an interesting read.
Do you realize that lady had to spend that they charged her $100,000 to get that information?
Oh yeah.
Well, I think that she got it waived. You can get it waived, but because I do FOIA request, technically you have to pay for it unless you are an educational institution or a reporter.
Because
So-
you think that would be filed by this time as under Freedom of Information Act?
You still have to pay for it. I mean,
Yeah,
if you do
that's
that,
true.
you have to pay for the time. Unless there's some exemptions, but like for me, a lot of times I tell people specifically, like, what are you looking for? And they're like, I want everything. I said, no, you don't want everything. Trust me. And they're like, what are you actually looking for? And some of it's to save myself work, because if I have to go into the warehouse, it's going to be 4 hours at least. And then I have to scan stuff. And there was one time I said, okay, this is what we're looking at. So you're probably looking at about $1,500. And I said, well, we're just not interested. I'm like, look, a lot of stuff I can get done in half an hour. I'm like, then it's only like $30, but otherwise,
I know what I have a curiosity, a thing that's making me making me wonder. My new humidor is not closing correctly. That's technical.
No.
I know.
Is it cursed or is it?
No. I hope not.
Well, I was just looking at the the sign on there. Aren't you supposed to have like a shrunken head and stuff? And you haven't
Come
done
on.
the proper.
No, it's uni.
No, Oni.
So yeah,
okay.
so it's cursed.
Yeah. Do you know that my grandparents?
Oni are not all necessarily evil. Just most Oni you don't want to run across.
My grandparents, when they were in Japan, got some of that stuff, and they
Yeah.
said, "Oh, this is a really cool mask," and they're like, "Well, it brings bad luck." And every time they put it over the bed or stuff, they got sick. And after about the fourth time, they took a hammer to the mask. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good for them.
it's like, well, we don't believe in your magic, but yeah.
One of the worst things I've ever seen, I forgot what movie it was a movie about voodoo, and the whole concept of the movie was, it doesn't affect you if you don't believe, which is a crock of fucking bullshit.
Somebody needs to believe. It not necessarily has to be you.
Yeah, it's
No,
the
the whole
demons
concept
and
was if you
devils,
don't believe,
they
you're
don't-
immune. Sorry,
Oh.
didn't interrupt you.
Well, there may be some of that, because I've always asked questions and like, well, okay, it doesn't seem to work on me or whatever. And they're like, no, you don't understand. All right, maybe I just have enough bad luck. It protects me.
I had an argument multiple times. My mom is an atheist, and she doesn't, and she argues with me more than I argue with her about it. I'm like, whatever, Mom, whatever makes you work. I'm not the one. I'm not the one who has to answer the big guy at the end of the day. But whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's just foolish." I'm like, "Yeah, that's like saying you don't believe in Satan." She's like, "Well, I don't believe in Satan." I'm like, "You don't need to believe in Satan for Satan not to believe in you."
Well, that's the big thing is, what was the greatest trick the devil ever played, that he didn't exist?
Yeah.
You know.
Nietzsche has a wonderful quote. It's ironic, and I know I'm going to butcher it, so I'm just going to
Butcher it
Butcher it.
anyways.
what?
Just butcher it anyways.
Yeah. It's ironic. The one person who you think deserves to be prayed for the most is the last person that's going to receive it.
Well, that's why the Buddhists believe that it depends on which sect of Buddhism, but some of them believe that their job is to enlighten everyone, and they'll keep coming back until everyone goes to heaven before them
Man.
or reaches nirvana. There's some interesting different groups.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see. What type of taco should I build? Potato, cheese. Do I want the brisket, the sausage, or the jalapeno sausage?
Chorizo and egg.
What's that?
Chorizo
Chorizo and egg.
and egg.
I don't like
Are you
eggs.
talking hard shell?
Usually they're soft shell. I don't like hard shell tacos. I like flour
Well, because
or soft shell.
How do you feel about Snicker bars?
I don't like Snicker bars either. I don't
doesn't
like
like
the
chocolate.
peanuts.
He's not a big chocolate guy either.
I'm not a big chocolate person. No, it's not. Give me something else.
Three Musketeers.
They're okay. I used to like them, but again, it's not a huge thing. No, it says you can get two item breakfast tacos, 3 item breakfast tacos, 4 item breakfast tacos, and 5 item breakfast tacos.
It sounds like a burrito
It does.
more than a taco.
No, burritos are giant things that they put rice in.
Not
They can't put rice in it, but it is one of the ultimate foods, the burrito.
Well, see, tacos are it's the size. The burrito is giant and the taco is small.
Well, the taco.
and
I
the
need to go to
burrito,
Rolando's.
and burritos have to have queso in them, otherwise they're just not that good.
We had this restaurant
You mean
around
cheese.
here.
You're
I mean,
surrounded by white guys. You could just say cheese.
No, I mean queso.
Yeah, the crumbly.
Hey, wait.
white stuff
No.
with stuff inside.
Shadow?
I'm talking about the queso is a sauce. It's more of a cheese sauce than it is.
Shadow. Unlike the rest of you all, I'm not scared of this thing called spice or seasoning.
I'm not afraid of spice. I'm afraid of shitting out fire.
That's because all of you are too white.
Hey, don't clump me into that.
No, my kids are gonna go see fireworks tomorrow. I'm just gonna hide in the basement. I want to see how many episodes of Band of Brothers I can squeeze into 12. How many hours of it?
So instead of listening to Boom Boom outside, you can listen to Boom Boom inside. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a whole different feeling.
Yeah.
Now
It's
you
the
got
same
right
reason that
stereo
when I
system
was
or speaker
it's the same
system.
reason when I was in Afghanistan, I had no problems playing Call of Duty. But as soon as I heard a bridge taken down here in around Fort Worth, I freaked out. It depends on where you are.
I just don't do fireworks. I don't do fireworks, and I don't do crowd. I was 19 years old, and it was the last time I went to Disney World. And my aunt's like, you're over the age of 18. There's no reason for you to come back to the hotel with us. Stay out as long as you want. I'm like, okay, I'll just hang out at Epcot because Epcot, to me, I thought Epcot was cool because I'm too old for Magic Kingdom. Epcot was kind of happy.
Well, it depends on how you vote.
Well, when I was 19, there was a place I think called Paradise Island.
No, I'm right.
Wasn't there? There's one called like Paradise Island in Disney World where it was all adult.
Yeah, Paradise Island, but that was for 21 and up.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I was 19. I was close, but not close enough.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm in Epcot, and I'm just kicking around, and park will be closing in half an hour. I'm like, well, I guess I need to head to the tram. 12:01, because I've never been to Epcot late at night. I was normally asleep by this point. There were fireworks. No one told me that there were fireworks. Uh, Epcot around its pond has cement benches. I don't know if they're still there, but they were there when I was there.
Yeah.
And I heard a boom that I wasn't expecting. I guess I did a ninja roll into underneath the cement bench, and some poor lady who was working there was like freaking out. Are you okay? I'm like, yep, yep, yep. If I see the fireworks go off, if I hear the thump and boom,
Yep.
I'm fine. It's just if I don't hear the and see the boom, but I hear the boom, there's the problem.
Yeah.
So
I
we know Connell died in World War II in a previous life.
Oh,
No such
Anyway,
thing.
like I said, I know the backstory behind this, but anyway, it's
if
so
if I came back from anybody that served in World War II, I want to be SOS Patty Maine. If you don't know who that is, look into your history because that man was a badass. Do you know who I'm talking about now?
Petty what?
Patty Maine.
I don't remember him. I remember Chesty
Maybe the
Puller.
guy who used to run around with a bow and an axe.
Oh,
No, that was Mad Jack Churchill, who was
yeah.
also a badass.
Who was mad that the war ended too soon.
He blamed the Americans.
Yeah,
He's not entirely wrong, but
well, he should blame the
Someone's
Russians.
gotta
The
come out
Russians
on
were already
top.
winning the war by the time we came involved.
Yeah. No, Patty Maine was one of the founding members of the SAS for Britain. They're
Oh, okay.
You mean
he
the
is
OSS.
no Special Air Service.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They were like Easy Company, but where Easy Company fell in line, the original SAS were the guys that were just homicidal that did not follow direction. And they were basically told to go behind enemy lines and go play Merry Hell.
They were kind of like the OSS. Yeah.
All
The
these
OSS was a little more covert, a little more clandestine.
Well,
more...
they what they were is they were irregular forces that were sent behind the line. I would have just liked to have been one of the Gurkhas if I could be one of them.
I actually have an OSS knife of a certain type that I'm not going to go into any further. It was supposedly my grandfather's, but again, I don't believe
No. You're thinking SS knife. I'm saying OSS.
No. We had that stuff too, but like I said, I had a weird family. But no, it's not that. Although
10.
I am in negotiations to get one of those for my collection, but they want like
aren't they illegal?
No, they're not illegal. My grandfather had one which he took off of an SS soldier who he captured when he was a POW.
Oh.
My grandfather was a POW and he captured his captors and then went back across enemy lines, which is a story unto itself. But basically, but no, the guy was going off about how the Germans were an Ubermenschen race. And my grandfather was Greek and did not like that and stabbed the guy about half an inch in the back. And he said he set up real fast at that point with his own knife.
Your grandpa? You said?
Yeah, my grandfather was captured in 1945, in April of 1945. So like 1 month before the end of the war.
He was Greek, I imagine.
He grew up Greek, but he was an American born in the U.S.
Gotcha.
He was born in the U.S. and then his mother went back to Greece and she died during childbirth, and so he was there. And his father was trying to find a new wife, and so left the kids over there in Greece until he got a new wife, and then brought them back to the United States.
Hey man, he didn't wait around long, did he?
He waited a few years.
Oh, okay. The way you said it, it was like, she's gone.
That is,
Boing, boing, boing.
That was a different era too. That was a different era.
I get it.
And his stepmother did not like him, so he ran away from home when he was 17, and traveled as
he was already
hobo.
a father at 17. Damn.
No, my grandfather was a hobo at the age of 17, traveling around the United States.
He
Um,
said hobo, ladies and gentlemen, not
yep,
homo.
yep, hobo. Well, he talked
It'd
about
be pretty
hobo
hard to have
camps.
kids.
He looked at it as the Great Depression was a great time in his life. It was,
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, Owen. I as a prepper, I've watched and lately watched a bunch of different uh, riding the rails hobo videos because those guys had some skills that unfortunately most folks don't feel the need for anymore.
I have a book somewhere in my collection that basically has the hobo code.
yeah, yeah. Where they would mark your
Yeah.
if you were
It,
friendly and like they'd say, hey, we can do this. If you helped out a hobo, they'd mark your house.
Yep.
They think you get all sorts of interesting people coming over to it. But apparently that ended in the 1970s because a lot of psychopaths started doing that, and then they said it changed the culture, and that's why they stopped
there
doing it.
was God, what was this? This was in I was living in Missouri, so I had to be in Missouri. But there
There's
was
got
an
to be.
old
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it could have been Arkansas. It was one of the surrounding states. And there's this old farmer that would give the hobos work. I mean, he would give them food or cash or whatever he had to give them. Anyways, the old man was starting to be pushed out by somebody, and the hobos went to the farm to help protect him and his farm.
That's cool.
I
Well,
thought
my
that was,
grandfather,
It's always nice to know a bunch of people who are uh, they know how to disappear.
you
well,
know,
well,
it, yeah,
my grandfather talked about you know going to California, and he said that they stopped you at the border of California, and if you didn't have money in your pocket, they turned you right back around.
yeah,
Yeah,
And so,
we should bring that back.
we kind of do that now.
yeah, but we want to send them back to California. No,
Right. Well, no,
it's like
Well,
escape.
or
It's like
wherever.
escape from LA. It's like no, you're
a
not allowed
Florida,
to.
I hear Florida's got some openings.
Well, you know what? It does. I'm sure it does. It's you just here's the thing: is you have to be willing to wrestle an alligator. I think that should be the
Yes,
requirement
yes.
to
yes,
get into Florida.
you got to be like Crocodile Dundee and shove your thumb up its ass.
That was the wrong guy. You're thinking Steve Irwin.
No, I had it right. You just didn't see that part.
There's actually a that reminds me of a joke in I think it's the Deathstalker novels. Anybody ever read those about the spotted snakes?
Yeah, forever ago.
Where yeah, I'll look it up. I'm getting ready to read those sometime in the near future because I didn't finish them. I borrowed them from an ex girlfriend who had them in her collection because her ex boyfriend had them, and I'm like,
Hold
oh,
on.
I have good taste in books. I borrowed them, and then we broke up, and I
All
kept
right.
the books.
I just believe this from the very get go. He said he dated a young lady that knew how to read.
No. All I heard
Yes.
was is I stole my Eskimo brother's books.
There's that too.
Bruce is not here.
I never knew the guy, so it's fine. You
You're still
know, if I knew
Eskimo
the guy,
brothers.
then it would
That's-
technically be an Eskimo brother. I mean, there's no such thing as a virgin anymore. So, what are you gonna do?
So anyway,
Wet wipes.
Conversation keeps going in directions I have virtually no experience with.
Well,
so anyway.
so I have to
Hey,
work.
Derby,
Saturday.
you're in what in San Antonio?
Me, yeah.
No.
I'm in San Antonio. Oh,
All right. I'm about 2 hours north of you, so
So if I make it to Texas,
you're in Round Rock?
a little
You're
bit
gonna
further
make it to
north.
Texas. If I have to drag your ass out
Austin?
of that fucking hellhole,
No,
you're gonna
north.
make it to Texas.
Round Rock is north of Austin. I'm north of Round Rock.
when I make
in
it to
Temple.
Texas, I require three things: brisket.
Okay.
Now, let me put this in order. I require cigars. There's a place in Houston that's one of the biggest cigar shops in America. Actually, I think in the world. It's like one of the top three. I want to check that out. There's got to be brisket. Now, I want to see the basement at the Alamo.
That's right.
See, I was half expecting to say and a married woman.
There's only one married woman I am attracted to, and I started to be attracted to her before she was married. So fuck you.
Well, just remember the Yellow Rose of Texas was the prostitute that allowed Texas to get Santa Ana. So,
See, the Alamo has always got my interest because I'm not going to go as far as I love you, Raven. Don't get me wrong, but some of your theories are very unique. Like saying, JFK shot first.
I've never heard that.
that's,
Never.
well, that was before George Lucas got a hold of the Zapruder film.
That makes sense. That was good. That was good, Owen.
But there's this rumor, there's this legend, theory, whatever you want to put it, that Santa Ana was a proud practicing Freemason. That's cool.
Yeah, never heard that.
Davy Crockett was also a proud, caring Freemason. And when you have two Freemasons are on opposite side, they do the whole John Cena, I can't see you, and they just kind of move around each other.
Well, the problem I think is that sounds really nice, except that everyone I don't think Davy Crockett was put to death under Santa Ana. I don't think so. I think he was just the soldiers got him, and I can't remember.
I want to know where you keep hearing this hogwash.
Well, I will say this much though.
Coast to coast isn't really a thing anymore, is it?
If you're going to go to a mission, I would probably go to one of the missions outside of San Antonio, not the Alamo itself.
Yeah, I know. I've been told the Alamo is like incredibly
dinky.
No, what happened is that the entire city's around the Alamo now. So it's like you just drive by
the wall.
And it doesn't include the entire facility that it used to. But the whole missions, the other missions out further outside San Antonio are like a full,
Yeah.
Oh, there's plenty of missions to go to inside San Antonio, not just
how are they comparable to like San Juan and San Luis Obispo?
I would guess I haven't been to those. I assume they'd be similar.
Okay.
Because when you had a mission, it was not just the church; it was all of the surrounding buildings and everything else. So.
Yeah, the church I go to on Sundays is it's got that whole Southwest vibe to it. I really dig it.
Yeah, but what I meant is like the mission would have like the housing facilities, and then like whatever
their trade was. A lot of times they made candles or wine or
they also had the animals. It was more of a facility. It was more of a compound.
Well, the ones out here, they all have like a side hustle, if you will, some sort of craft or other service. Another way to make money.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the missions that they have around there are they're like acres. They're like 40 acres or something. They're pretty big.
I need to get another side hustle.
But yeah,
$20 is
I thought you already
$20.
had one.
Man, my main hustle is killing me. My retirement plan is to have a heart attack in the kitchen.
Well, that's a lot of paperwork for your employer.
Oh,
he is his employer.
The cigar shop, the lounge or whatever.
Well, that's not. I mean, as much as I love that place, that's not going to realistically bring me any kind of money that I could retire on. That's just going to keep me in cigars.
But it will if you don't spend it.
Well, here's the other part.
You live long enough.
Personal,
like 8,000 years.
Personal experience is the people who go to cigar lounges are very interesting people, and I wish I liked smoking because that's the thing that the people I'll talk to are great, but I don't like being around the smoke. So
that's the opposite of me. I wish I didn't love smoking. I quit, a while back, and it sucks.
And you drink coffee and water, right?
I don't drink coffee. I only drink water.
You don't drink coffee, and you give up, man.
I don't
I don't
drink
drink,
coffee. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, I
If
only
this
drink
was if
water.
this was
That's
if this was me in this situation, and I was happily married, I see a lot of angry sex in my future.
Well, well, you know the
oh,
worst part about Shadow giving up cigarettes? He's the one that invented the damn things. He's the one that showed up. Oh, by the way, South Americans smoke this plant.
yeah, that's fair.
I need to sit down and
It
watch.
wasn't South America though. It was Mu,
Oh,
or
true.
Lemuria, however you want to,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh shit!
I was
Stuff.
saying,
I
nobody's having
remember
problems
Oh,
in
getting
that
those.
was my
fourth
fault.
grade.
Oh, that
I
was
was
you.
I was in the fourth grade reading that stuff about Moo, and they had like several books, and I was like, and you know what's funny is they were old books, so like the covers were torn and everything else. They were still in our school library. Well, I say library. It was the books in the classroom, and I'm just like, why were these books in like fourth grade classrooms? I mean, I got more stuff from the
All
as much
propaganda.
as people were talking about D&D, I was getting most of my mythology from all the books that they had in my elementary school because they had all of like the old mythologies. So I got all stuff about werewolves and vampires and ghosts, and
Mhm.
and they
Wow,
weren't like the nice friendly stuff. It was like, and so went into the grain, and I forgot what he did. He like burned what he no, what it was is he burned the grain down so the people would starve and all the rats ran out of the grain and then went into his castle and ate him alive. It was something like
that's
those were
not
those
Greek
kind of stories.
mythology. That one is. I know that story.
Yeah, there are a lot of German stories that are like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. So I was listening to this thing on YouTube because I'm an idiot. And it was going back to saying that old German, like the Grimm brothers stories, weren't so much fantasy as they were murder mysteries, like a true crime podcast meets survival guides, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White was based on a real young lady who her stepmom poisoned her, so her and her sons would inherit, and she poisoned the young lady by using arsenic and mercury, which made her skin pale. The father passed on, but the father's business was he had mines, and during that time period, it was okay to send kids into mines to work.
Well, it still
So
is.
the dwarfs, the seven dwarfs, turned
Where do
out
you
to
think
be.
we get lithium from?
I know.
I'm just saying that story was based
They were
on.
just short Chinese. They just look young.
You know what Shadow's favorite Chinese dish is, right?
No, it's not.
That's
Premium,
right.
premium
I
young
know what you're
guy.
gonna say. Yeah, fuck you. No, it's not. It's orange chicken or sweet and sour chicken. Get it right. I've only mentioned it like 50 million times.
Oh, so Shadow likes sauce covered balls. Got it.
Chicken ball.
So I've heard different things
No,
about
it's
this.
chicken
I know
nuggets.
Pied Piper. Part of the reason they say with the Pied Piper was
Jeez, Elvis,
that was part of the Children's Crusade.
you're allergic to
And the
bullshit.
Yeah.
what happened was that they let all their kids go to the Children's Crusade, and they felt so guilty about it. They created the story of the Pied Piper and how
Whole
it's
generation.
children.
Whole
I used to love that
generation
story as a kid.
disappears.
Well, the Children's Crusade, they went around and they got the children. When they went to Venice, and instead of sending them over to Jerusalem, the Venetians sold them into slavery. And you're like, damn, that's cold. Here, all these kids think that they're going to go over to help fight for God, and then you sell them to slavery.
They must have been Catholics. Sorry.
Well,
I'm
they
Catholic.
should have. Well, yeah, because at the time they were only Catholic.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. No, it's just I was listening to some of these stories. It's like, holy freaking crap.
Well, I was listening to some of them, and they're talking like Jack and the Beanstalk going back 4,000 years, and there's some other stuff in there. You start listening to some of these, like, well, how far do these stories actually go back?
A long ways back.
One of my other favorite stories comes out of the Bible, of all places. David was told by King Saul that if you want to marry my daughter, you need to bring me back 100 or 100 or 1,000. I can't remember. I know there was a one foreskins of the people that you've killed.
Yeah,
So-
I'm pretty certain that's a mistranslation because that's just foul and disgusting.
No,
And
if you actually read about
you
some
need
of
to
the
grab 100 guys' cocks. It's
No,
very
no.
much-
Foreskins, not the cock, the foreskin.
And how are you going to get that without, holding it?
Well, here's the thing. Well, if you actually read the Bible, that was part of it because that was anyway. Ignoring some of that is some of that it could also be, hey, you have to convert 1,000 people to Judaism.
Yeah, I that's the nicer version of that story.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
mean, but it's just because at the time that was part of the circumcision, and that's where the Christians broke off from the Jews. If you look at like what 400, there's a certain point where Christians and Jews were considered the same sect, and then there was that argument about circumcision, about allowing more people in. So, but yeah, I mean, there's different ways of interpreting it. So.
That was always one of my favorite stories. I'll argue
it's
so often with the
creepy.
priest that Job got screwed.
Well, part of it is the circumcision was about a sacrifice towards God, and so
I don't
Yeah.
know how
Yeah,
I
because it
feel.
takes that's why they do it when you're a baby now, because you can't, the pain.
You
is
don't remember
physical.
the excruciating pain?
Yeah, you don't have to put your cock in some doctor's hand.
well, here's it. Well, I saw this years ago, and I never have really, I haven't really followed it up. At one point, they said that circumcision was found as effective as a vaccine in the prevention of AIDS, and I thought that was kind of interesting. But I don't know. But that was something I heard in the '90s. I don't know
Yay!
where it
My
went.
cock got me.
That's
My cock got me into this. My cock's gonna get me out of this.
Well,
Who
no. What I
here
meant
amongst
was
us
that
has not said that at least once in their life.
yeah.
Come
that's right up there with them Africans thinking that having sex with a virgin would cure them of AIDS.
No, it's not, nerdy. This was actual from doctors actually saying that it was found to be as effective as a vaccine. But I never followed up to see on how much.
Doctors also said, great, wear black in the sunlight. It absorbs more sunlight. It'll keep it cooler.
You mean like the Bedouins do?
Hey, on hot days, I drink hot tea. I don't drink anything cold.
I mean, there's a reason that if you look at like Lawrence of Arabia, certain ones were wearing black. But yeah, it's. But no, if you
because
actually
after
look
a
at what the
while of
doctors
wearing
was,
all black in the sun, you pretty much shed any excess body weight you have, and so it probably affects you less.
well, if you actually look at a lot of their stuff, it's really thin. It's not like what we think of it, and so it allows the air to go through, and so
Isn't the majority
Well,
of
that's a different story versus modern fabric.
Yeah.
Isn't the majority of it
fabric, a better way
linen?
of putting it.
Well, we're not talking about modern fabric for Bedouins, but yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking. Wasn't majority of what they wore linen?
It was real loose, and actually a lot of it was it wasn't very tightly woven, and then some of it was muslin, which was
Because-
think of it more like a weave than like what we have with a thick linen.
Right. No, with the medieval reenactment stuff, I have several tunics and pants are made out of linen.
Oh
and it can be incredibly fucking hot, and that linen just it breathes so much better than cotton, and I'm not dying on the field.
Well, cotton's supposed to be pretty good. The problem is that a lot of people wear stuff that's tight fitting, and that's not what you want if you're gonna be down
like tugga.
Yeah. Well, that's why you want things that are very loose. So, that's why people laugh at me when I wear my my long sleeve shirts down in Texas. I'm like, yeah, because it keeps the sun off your skin. That's what really burns you.
Oh.
I mean, if you don't believe me, go look at the guys working on the highway roads during the summer. You don't see like an inch of skin on those guys.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Here in California, it's not uncommon to see people doing that without a shirt on.
Yeah, but they're all white guys. And I don't know why the white guys do it, because all the Mexican and black guys are wearing clothes. So
I
Yeah.
again, I can't remember ever seeing or meeting a black construction worker.
I can't afford to go without a shirt in the summer. I burn like a freshly moved Russian.
Well, that's the other reason too. Is it also prevents a lot of sunburn. But I just have to laugh because it seems like the whiter the guy, the more that they'll show off like their arms. Like there's a reason that they call you a redneck or you're completely sunburned. Like wear some clothes over that. In the meantime, the Mexican guys, you're lucky if you see eyes.
Yep. The guys that do the yard work in our area, yeah, they're completely covered, face, gloves, everything.
That's what. Whenever I was living in Houston, I was working at this place and at this furniture place, and I was loading up this one car, and this lady just bought a bunch of furniture because she just moved back. She used to live in Houston. Her job took her to Pennsylvania for a few years. She met a guy. They got married. Her job brought her back
What's
to
up,
Houston.
Cal? Happy 4th to you too, man.
And they her job brought them back to Houston. So she gets a call one day. Her husband was in the hospital. He'd had a heat stroke. It turns out he was in the habit of every day at about 2:00 going for a jog. Mind you, he's fresh from Pennsylvania, and this is August in Houston, where it's like triple digit heat with 60% humidity, and
There's
Well,
a
see,
word.
what
There's a
gets me
reason why
about
the word siesta exists.
Well,
That's
see, I
it.
would when we were doing work down in Katy in that area. One of the guys he said, "Oh yeah, I have some of my workers just work like half days because they're all coming up from up north like Montana." He says it takes them about 2 to 4 weeks to get acclimated before they could actually work them a full day.
Mhm.
And that people forget about it. I mean, I spend all day out there, and at the end of the day, it's just like okay, let me get the sweat rings off, and let me, your clothes are completely wet. I'm still recovering from the poison ivy I all walked through and the chiggers. So
After spending a majority of my life over in Ireland, even the mild summers or the first summer I was here full time, I just wanted I wanted to be inside. It was too much. Then when I moved down to Tennessee for a little while, the people I was living with, the woman kept the AC at what 65,
woof, that is
60.
cold. Yeah.
Right. So I go to walk outside. I'm like, I can't breathe.
Yeah,
That is
humidity
literally
will
my
get you.
sister.
I grew up in the southeast, so I just remember people dying in Florida, and especially New Yorkers. They were hilarious. Oh, we got roaches. You guys think that you got your roaches, and then one of the roaches would fly towards them, and they'd scream like little girl. Ah! Like
Yeah, they're pretty
you're
big in
real tough.
Vegas too. You strap a couple of those to your feet, and they'll do the walking for you.
I was,
Yes.
they're used to German cockroaches. I'm like, no, you haven't dealt with like Florida or Houston bugs,
No. I love it. You city people always, oh yeah, you city the sewers, oh, you got the biggest insects, and then they come out in the middle of nowhere like, good God, what am I in Australia?
Oh, I'm actually, what's kind of weird is this year I haven't run into any of those big orb weaver spiders. The ones that are the big yellow ones.
Yeah.
Where they have a web that goes about 20 feet across.
Oh yeah. We don't get huge spiders around here.
I mean, usually I'll be like I'll almost walk into one. I'm like, they're pretty harmless. But
yeah, no, what we usually get around here that really freaks people out is we'll have bald-faced hornets the size of your thumb.
Where are you crafting?
North Idaho.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I got stung pretty good on last Friday.
Carpenter bees are the worst.
Oh, go ahead.
I saw a carpenter bee drill a hole that I could stick my thumb in like a blink of an eye through a solid freaking eye beam. Just
sounds about right.
Sawdust just kicking out. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, my son talked about it. He said that was kind of cool watching it where he at his mom's.
Those things
Yeah.
are freaking. Thank God they like wood and not people. Just saying.
Well, I'll
You know-
say this much: the really nasty looking ones, they're supposed to be really bad, but I've never heard anyone getting stung unless they're really stupid. Are the tarantula wasps?
Oh yeah,
Those
those things are
black ones?
scary.
Oh dear God, what mad scientist came up with that idea?
Well, you know what's funny is that
God.
is unless you step on them or something, they do not sting you. I mean, it's like you leave them alone, they
If
ignore
I
you.
step on it, it shouldn't be able to sting me.
There's two things. I'm down in Tennessee at one of my events. It's the same place they filmed Ernest Goes Camping back forever ago. And I'm smoking a cigar, just kind of relaxing, and I see a wood hornet go into a hole, and it comes out and it goes back in. And I'm just gonna look around. And I found like a small scrap of duct tape, and I took a huge pull off the cigar I was smoking, blew the smoke into the hole, then put the duct tape over. Said, "Welcome to my life, asshole." Second thing, they have these like small little ant things down there called cow killers. They're pink, and if they bite you or clamp onto you, it's supposed to be as bad as a bullet ant clipping onto you. I'm like, fuck.
That seems a little bit. Well, no, it said clamping down. That's true. You didn't say the sting. Bullet ants do have a head that can literally shred flesh. So
Yeah, I grew up being told that
That's why you
daddy
get the antennae.
was those spiders are harmless, daddy long legs,
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
not really
yeah.
a spider.
that they're supposed to be one of the most poisonous spiders in the world, but because their
Except
mouth
their
is so
mouth is too tiny to bite anything.
yeah.
MythBusters literally busted that by testing the venom.
Mm-hmm. Oh, most Americans are taught that Paul Revere made the midnight run. He didn't. He had a bad case of the hemorrhoids.
Yeah, well, they got that saying down in Texas: "Never let the truth get in the way of a good story."
Yeah, I think people say that across all of America, honestly.
Nuh-uh. Missouri is the show me state.
Yeah.
I don't know what they want me to show them, but zip.
UV resins are getting quite good for doing deep pours. I got like say deepest part is about a tenth of an inch, maybe a little more, and it's not cracking.
I've had two songs running through my head all fucking day. One of them is just annoying. It's been a while since I've actually sat down and listened to Frank Sinatra. And the other one is kind of my fault because I watched Labyrinth the other night because it's one of my favorite movies just to chill out to. And so I got My Way competing with You Remind Me of the Babe.
What, babe?
The Babe with the Power.
What power?
Power of Voodoo.
Voodoo?
Do what remind me of the Babe?
That's an interesting song. That's an very interesting song to sing when you're surrounded by goblins. That says a little something about your babe.
Right?
That and there's this movie that just came out called Sinners. Great fucking movie. Great fucking
Awesome movie.
And you got Jack O'Connell singing Rocky Road to Dublin. And that's kind of been bouncing through my head. Why are the vampires? Why are the Irish? It's criminating against the Irish. I'm like, get the fuck over it. It's a great movie.
Never even heard of it.
Not surprised. It has the guy Michael B. Jordan. He's been in a lot of shit recently. He's a really good actor. The Creed movies, Rocky and Creed.
Yeah,
The Creed movies, he was the main guy. He's just a really good actor. I enjoy most of his stuff. I need to go see, and I know I'm going to catch some shit from one of you fucks. I need to see the new Jurassic World movie for one reason. My future ex-wife's in it.
There's a couple of girls in there, so which one are you talking about?
Scarlett Johansson.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to her.
You just want to marry her
She's so
long enough to
plain.
get.
Oh my god,
What?
she's so average.
Hey, I'm fine with average.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're the ones stuck with me, so I'm not going to be too fucking picky.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just,
next time
I
you
never understood what, you know. She looks like a literally like 100 million other women. It's
Well,
usually
that's
just the
literally
cost.
the thing. Well, that's literally the thing, Shadow. She looks like a woman you might actually have a chance with, which automatically makes her hotter than she actually is.
I go
Yeah.
I go with the Ron White line of thinking.
once you've seen one set, you want to see them all.
Well, that too, but I was thinking more of they got
That's fine.
LASIK surgery that can give you perfect 20/20 vision. All right, they got liposuction, suck all that fat out, and give you and give a girl, the abs of a high school cheerleader. They got implants put in, perk up them tits, the butt lift. They can make a 60-year-old woman look like an 18-year-old cheerleader. But you just can't fix stupid. There is no pill, no procedure, no potion that'll cure stupid.
Yet,
Yeah, with
eventually they'll make the Mantat. Not Mantat. What those fucking things called from Fallout? I've seen Dune before, so I always called them Mantats. They're not Mantats. They're Mintat.
When is the next Dune movie coming out? Anybody know?
I don't fucking care. It's like the new Dune game. I wouldn't be that interested in the mechanics to begin with, but as soon as they said it's an alternate universe where they made the excuse to turn Paul into a woman, it's like no, Paul made himself not born, and so Jessica gave birth to a daughter instead. Yeah, how long before in the storyline? Oh, and by the way, the daughter is the Moadib. It's just an excuse to turn Paul into a woman.
yeah, it's fucking retarded.
I got nothing for it. Neither pro nor con. The books were I read the first couple books until he decided, not Paul, but his son decided to become a great big fucking worm, and that's when I got off the fucking boat.
Yeah, I think that's God Emperor Dune. I was out. I checked out around book number 3 as well.
Yeah, part of why I like Dune is that the supernatural was more of a background thing. Yes, the spice could do many, many things, but it was subtle, predicting the future. I mean, yes, moving space isn't subtle in a direct sense, but how it was used was subtle. It wasn't like
the spice is why we had a
that's
Jedi.
hard to explain.
The spice is responsible for the Jedi and the Sith. Because it's referenced, spice is referenced in Star Wars as an illegal drug.
Huh?
Oh no, he's right. It appears in the Knights of the Old Republic.
So, Dune and Star Wars are the same universe. Spice is a reason why we have Jedi and Sith.
Okay.
I thought it was mentioned in the second prequel as well.
It was mentioned a few
Probably
times.
is.
Would you like some spice? You do not want to sell me spice. Okay.
Oh, that was Death Sticks.
That's whatever.
But no,
it's mentioned in one of those fucking movies.
Yeah, it's one of the drugs you can find in Knights of the Old Republic, and if I remember correctly, it temporarily increases your force powers.
See,
It's
this
been
is
a very long time I replayed it, and the only reason I remembered it is because I'd watched Dune beforehand and seen Spice. I wonder if they're referencing Dune. Yeah, and that's about as much as I remember for sure.
this is a reason why I like Cocaine Bear. Everything you need to know about the movie is in the
In the
title.
name.
It's like Jaws. I wonder what this movie is about. Donna, Jaws. There's no,
Oh. That reminds me. I have found
Or
the perfect video. I mean, not video, but meme for you and I.
the Debbie Goes to Dallas. Once again, everything you need to know is in the title.
Yeah.
Don't give me that look, Shadow. I'm saying what you're thinking. I'm just saying it out loud.
Never thought of that movie ever.
Yeah. You're never gonna be able to look at Snickers bars the same, are you?
I usually don't get those anyways. Every once in a while, I get the Snickers with almonds because it's basically just the Mars bar because Mars stopped making those.
So you get the vein in the nut.
This is fucking so wrong.
Does Jackie eat? What does Jackie at all? And I'm not trying to. Does he like Snickers bars? Because my thought processing is
He's more of a Reese's peanut butter guy.
Good man. I could just see this. Jack goes to the grocery store, comes back with his mom. He's eating a Snickers bar, and you're just shaking your head in shame.
No, I'm actually. If I was going to buy a candy bar, I'd probably get a whatchamacallit.
Oh, I know what those. I always like.
I love me a good whatchamacallit.
Yeah, it's in the candy world, it's kind of its own thing. There's not, as far as I know, there's nothing like it.
Fair enough.
Connell, I just sent you the meme. Mind you, instead of King Ghidorah's, I actually like that movie. It's King Kong and Godzilla, but it's literally yours and I's argument right here. Just summed up in a picture.
You're not wrong. Yeah, no, there's a few movies I just fuck with people. It's like Mary Poppins and it is the same. They're from the same universe.
I've heard that one before.
That or Mary Poppins is a Hufflepuff from Hogwarts.
I don't know enough about. I don't know.
Either way, she's a drug pusher. I mean, who else sings a song about a teaspoon of sugar helps a medicine goes down?
Yeah, that wasn't sugar.
That was crystallized heroin.
Oh,
yeah, I know. There's something wrong with me, Shadow.
No, it's just that heroin is already. Anyways.
To be fair, I've never been in the same room with somebody using it, and it's always like TV or movie references that I see my heroin.
You're lucky, though. It's awful.
I've stopped talking to a few people because they found a taste for it.
Yeah, I miss the 80s TV and movie drug shows where the guy's like picks up that baggie, pulls out pocket knives. Yep, that's heroin, all right.
Yeah, just don't ever do that with PCP.
Then you become Superman. Superman for half an hour as cops are shooting you as you're waving around a katana thinking you're Billy Badass. I've seen that video.
That reminds me, I last night I bought a citrus beer because I got a wild hair and it was on sale. I think they might have used moldy oranges. Because towards the very end of it, I seen a red ball of tentacles climbing down from my ceiling that dissolved away. What, nobody gets that reference?
No, I'm
I mean,
letting
not
you
the
go.
tentacles part, because I'm not joking. That's literally what I saw. I'm talking about the moldy orange. If you find the right kind of mold on an orange, it's a mild PCP or mild acid, more appropriate.
So-
I'm surprised Shadow didn't know that.
I
News
was
to
thinking
me.
for something else.
Oh, Manal,
The
you still
mold
with
that's on
us?
certain rye breads.
Oh, Manal, you still there?
He was devoured by the void.
I think I hear him in the background.
He's probably doing kid stuff with his son.
I didn't think it was him because if it was him, wouldn't his little icon there like flash?
He's still there. He's just, yeah, I don't know.
Had to watch my son just so I could tell him I'm his father. So
Best part of that movie.
I know. Well, he's like, well, it's in my top 5 trilogies. I'm like, well, that's good, son.
Aw.
Yeah, Jackie gives me a ration of shit whenever I categorize and list, my favorite things, tier list them. It just something happens over the years, You've done this or that, or seen this or that, or developed a taste for this or that. You get a list.
Well, my
You know?
son is not happy. He's like, why haven't they made movies like this in the last 20 years? I'm like, I'm sorry, son. I said, well, you got your Harry Potters up until like 2010, so you at least got that, son. But yeah. So,
Every once in a while, Hollywood will get lucky and produce a decent movie.
well, I mean,
Yeah, and every single time Fox gets something good, they go out of their way to destroy it.
well,
Firefly.
that's the problem with a lot of the the problem is you get a new executive and they want to cancel whatever the previous executive did. And my view is, why don't you just care about making money? If someone else did, but I don't know. There's a lot of jealousy and weird
That's
things
kind
in
of
there.
happening with the Subnautica game right now. Game company came in, bought up the original creators of Subnautica. They put in a new manager or head of the company at any rate. Unknown Games, Unworld Games, whatever. And people are freaking out, thinking that he's going to start canceling projects and changing things to throw his weight around. But apparently the company made it very clear he actually has nothing to do with Subnautica. Yeah, he's under now control of the company, but unless he forces it, has no say of what happens next with Subnautica.
Well, here's the thing, though, and people forget about this. A lot of the people who worked on popular games left to do other things, so the original team's gone. That's what happened with Blizzard and a lot of other.
In the case of Subnautica, 90% of the original team was still there, but the original leadership has been removed. But they weren't even apparently involved. They actually put someone else in charge. That's why the new guy isn't in charge of the Subnautica project.
So
Sure. I'm looking at the movies that are about ready to come out, and there's a couple that have got my attention. Out of curiosity, Superman.
yeah, I don't care about Superman. I don't care about superhero films. I just haven't.
I'm slightly curious how this one's going to shit the bed, so I can give people a ration of shit that like those movies. I know what you did last summer because 2 of the original cast are coming back for this one. Granted, no, yeah, 2 of them are coming back. You have the Fantastic Four movie. I'll go watch just because I gotta do something with myself, I guess. Naked Gun.
I don't know how I feel about Naked Gun, but at least it seems like they're still respecting the original.
Oh God, yeah. Shin Godzilla. 40K.
Bless you.
They're doing the 50th anniversary of The One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay. I couldn't stand watching the first time. I tried. There's just certain films like I don't care how good they say they are. I just don't like them. It's,
The Grateful Dead movie.
Yeah, I can really pass on that one. Wow.
I'll tell you the one to go see, which actually came out earlier this year, which was Creation of the Gods Part 2.
Uh, the Ninja Turtles movie, the 35th anniversary.
Oh, okay. They're going to bring back the stuff that was from the early 1990s.
The first Ninja Turtle movie that popped.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
and
deleted scenes and stuff like that.
yeah. So
Go Ninja, go Ninja.
I
go.
pay $25 a month to AMC to basically go kill a few hours at the movie theater. I still love movie theaters.
I'll be
Find it-
honest. For $25, if they would show a lot of the old movies, I'd be happy to go. And we're talking stuff from the 1960s, 70s.
Oh yeah.
80s,
Well, they
90s.
do. Sometimes
Okay,
they'll
that's
do during the summer. They'll replay like old movies. They just did the Home Alone movie not that long ago, and I went to go see that, and it made me smile because I remember enjoying the hell out of it when I was a kid. You dirty rat! I recently saw Casablanca in the theater.
okay. I mean, for stuff like that, I wouldn't mind. It's just that the newer stuff. I'm trying to think of the movies that I've enjoyed in the last 10 years. I enjoyed
I would-
Lego Batman. The John Wicks, the first one was, well, actually, I saw the second one in the theater. The first one I watched on, like, the TV. What was the other one that was out there? Dune 1 and Dune 2, I thought were worth seeing in the theater.
I think
I am totally prepared to do some sketchy shit if I find out that there's a theater playing Kelly's Heroes.
See, that's another one. Why don't you play? I mean, there's a lot. Well, Achilles Heroes is silly and fun, and it's a great movie just because it is that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I live, they don't do that. It's only the kind of movies Connell's just listed off, and I honestly can't think of a single movie in the last 10 years that I liked. The last great movie I saw in the theaters was probably John Carter.
So
That was
Alamo Draft House used to have where, in some cases, they'd be showing like Planet of the Apes, and you're like, oh, okay, and they're like, all right, not everything has to be the newest movies, but
Exactly.
show me some of the old stuff, things that I could take my son to as well.
It's weird though, Omen. Like I was recently looking for stuff on like Tubi, Netflix, Amazon, etc. And literally everything I was looking for is something like that. A movie or a TV show that you could pretty much guarantee nobody gives a shit about anymore. Like I was looking for Miami Vice, or Hill Street Blues. When was the last time anybody even talked about that? Right? Nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's all behind the paywall.
Well, to be fair, it's not that it bothers me for having some of those behind paywalls. It's just there's a reason I've been watching the Chinese films and I've been watching Indian films. Is because they do the big blockbusters and they give they aren't worried about political correctness. They're not worried about all of this quote diversity. It's like, hey, we do the Indians, and it's completely ridiculous. And even if the special effects aren't quite good enough, they're good enough to keep me entertained. And I'm like, that's all I care about. Though I will say, Creation of the Gods.
But
was
then I did some
top-notch.
searching for those same two TV shows, and I could buy the complete collection on DVD cheaper than I could watch it behind a paywall.
Yeah, that's fair. I bought several things that
What
were
the
really
fuck is
cheap.
that? On a thing like Amazon Prime, where you would think things like that would be free, those would be the things that you'd get for free, not like the new movies that are free.
Well,
if it came out
here's
the last 5 years, that's going to be free. But if it's like 20 or more years older, then you're going to have to pay to watch it.
yeah, but if you
You're
look
lucky
at it,
anybody wants to watch it.
no.
Doing them a favor.
Here's what you're forgetting. Amazon doesn't own those. Those are usually owned by some other service,
Mhm.
like Paramount or NBC or something like that. And it's just the same reason like for Crunchyroll. Why won't you let me watch this if I'm going to be stuck with commercials? But they used to have stuff on Adult Swim, but instead I have to go over to Crunchyroll, and I'm not paying $8 just to watch. I don't watch enough movies or TV to make it worth my time. Um, that's what it really comes down to. It's not that just like for my son, I have Max Prime, or Max whatever, but I flip through it like, well, there are some good movies in there, but I was like, well, I don't want to spend 2 hours of my day doing this. Right? I'd rather go play a video game, or that's the hard part I have is blocking time off to watch certain things.
Yeah, same here. It's been months since I watched anything. What was the last one we watched, Connell? Oh, Monty Python. That was the last one I watched, and I only watched it because we were doing a thing about it. Without Connell's show or some other really hardcore reason to watch something. My time is just I don't have 2 hours to sit and literally do nothing else.
Well, with my main job, I find that I have like maybe 2 to 3 hours of absolutely nothing to do, and I'm not going to drive from Peoria to Pekin, which is about 38-minute drive. That's a waste of gas. But the movie theater is like maybe 10-minute drive away from where I'm working. So I can go duck in and see a movie, relax, watch some kind of bullshit, and just chill out, then go back to work.
Again, I'm not
Well, I know.
I'm not knocking the fact that you're going to it. My real complaint is they aren't playing the movies I really want to watch, or even movies that I would be like for $25. I mean, that's about the same cost as me going as getting a Prime service. It's like, oh, but I get the full theater experience. I still remember I used to, when I worked a night shift, as soon as I get off the night shift, I'd stay up until like 10 a.m. in the morning or something. Actually, I didn't work the true night shift. I worked the graveyard. I worked until 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get up and they would have like the first showing of the movie at 10 o'clock. And so I would go in and watch that. So like I watched Lord of the Rings, and one is I didn't get the bad popcorn smell and everything else from everyone being in there the entire day. It wasn't too crowded. I didn't get a bunch of kids because none of them woke up early enough. And it was like so people like, oh, I'd love to go watch this film, and I come in at 4 o'clock. Like, yeah, I saw the movie. And they're like, you bastard! What? It starts at it was at 10 o'clock. But I used to do a lot of that. I used to watch a lot of the movies, and
on a weekday,
on a Friday because I worked Sunday through Thursday.
In my whole life, I've never gone to a theater that early.
No, even Sunday through but I worked Sunday through Thursday. I'd wake up early enough so I could go see.
I mean, even as a kid, though, when like summer vacation would still be like, we go to the 2 or 3 o'clock showing, not the
exactly
10 a.m. showing.
That's my point. Is I went to the very first showing and I didn't have to deal with all those kids.
Oh, I was one of those kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole point.
I don't think you were a kid when he was a kid.
Nice burn.
Well, no. I mean, I was what 27 or 28. So that's what I'm saying is I'm going over here and I was watching all of those movies, and even the films that were semi blockbusters or things that were okay, they were still better. But I've been watching and maybe it's just the way that they're doing the trailers. The trailers nowadays, I'd rather watch the trailers from the 1980s and 1990s to get excited about a film than the trailers, because every so often I'll go watch what is it? They'll have like the movie trailers, and they'll put like 20 movie trailers in, and you watch like 2 minutes, as they go through them. And I'm just like, first off, I don't even know what your movie's about. I don't know anything about your characters. It's just like, why would I want to go see this movie? Whereas I watched some of the old trailers, even the stuff from like, the Big Trouble in Little China, UHF, a lot of these movies, and they had better trailers then, and that I got excited to go see a movie. Nowadays, they don't want to tell you anything about the movie, and it's like, what's your movie called? What's your movie about? Don't make me sit through 2 minutes of your trailer to even think if I want to go to your movie. You've already failed. You should be doing that in the first 10 to 15 seconds. In fact, and ideally 5 seconds. Like, oh, this looks cool. Which is one of the reasons I liked Star Wars at the very beginning, because it starts off with, the little marquee, so you feel like you're caught up, and then, at the very beginning they start shooting the lasers instead of putting all the credits beforehand. And I understand that's a guild thing, but that's a director's guild thing. But overall, to me, it's much better. Just get me into the movie, And if you make a good movie, I'll follow the director. Um, but even some of the movies that I enjoyed as a kid, I say kid, but in the early 2000s, like I enjoyed. What was it? The guys who did like Oh Brother Where Art Thou and stuff.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Coen Brothers.
Yeah, the Coen brothers. I enjoyed their movies. Like, oh, okay, I'll go see Fargo and stuff. Like,
Don't ask me how I know because I hated that movie.
Well, I like the music. I enjoyed the movie. I thought
Fargo. I mean, not Fargo. Brother, Where Art Thou is a retelling of the Odyssey.
It's loosely. It's got pieces of it, but not the rest. But yeah, but my whole point was that the music was fun. It was, I enjoyed the witty dialogue.
Speaking of enjoying the witty dialogue, I have, but now I got to run. I've been in front of a camera for the last 6+ hours. I'm fading, guys. I'll see you tomorrow or the next day or the next day.
Well, I'm about ready to wrap up myself. I just wanted to hang out with you guys for a little bit.
Sure.
As long as I wasn't the only one.
Shadow, thank you for joining us. I know you spend more time behind the camera than in front of the camera these days.
Very fun.
Hey.
Where to go?
Oh, yeah. So, you have a good one. Everybody else, have a good rest of the evening. Happy 4th of July. Enjoy fireworks, hot dogs, and
hey, enjoy being underneath. Have fun.
Yeah.
All
right.
Y'all have good.
Thanks,
y'all have a good night, and hope everybody has the same fingers. Same amount of fingers.
The only finger you really need is this one.
Hey, I'm just happy that we had enough rain. I don't have to worry about my farm fields catching on fire.
Jeez.